Summer isn't even over yet, and I'm already fantasizing about wrapping myself in a blanket with a hot cocoa and watching Home Alone. Yeah, nothing screams the holidays more than this franchise, which for me is just the first two movies, to be honest. The later additions to the film series have been pretty much universally hated, but it finally seems like Home Alone is on the brink of a major breakthrough. Yup, we might finally be getting a new Home Alone movie, led by none other than our beloved Kevin McCallister himself, aka Macaulay Culkin, who's reportedly pushing the project. So what's going on with this new movie? Where does it stand in development right now, and when will we get to see it? Well, that's a complicated question, so let's dig right into it. News on the grapevine is that Disney recently pitched a new idea for a Home Alone movie starring Macaulay Culkin. Culkin was 10 years old when the first Home Alone movie hit theaters in 1990, and his portrayal of little Kevin, who accidentally got left behind when his family went on vacation during Christmas, was a big part of his rise to fame. Little Kevin immediately won our hearts by devising elaborate schemes and traps to catch the wet bandits, Harry and Marv. After the massive success of the first film, for which Macaulay Culkin won Best Young Actor starring in a motion picture at the Youth and Film Awards, the makers went above and beyond to have him back for the sequel. According to director Chris Columbus, he auditioned some 200 children before he saw Macaulay, and from that moment forward, he knew that no one else could be his Kevin. Columbus told Polowey of Yahoo Entertainment, "He was such a unique kid, incredibly charismatic. He didn't look like he came out of the Hollywood cookie-cutter world of fame. He didn't look like some kid you'd see on a TV show. This was a real kid. And he was funny and charming." Honestly, I have to agree, I don't think any other child actor could have pulled off putting on his dad's aftershave and screaming with such an authentic reaction when the alcohol-based skincare product stung his face. Culkin became the heart of Home Alone and was paid around $4.5 million for the sequel. That made him the highest-paid child actor in Hollywood at that time. Now, the thing is, Culkin didn't return for the rest of the films, nor did Chris Columbus. As I mentioned earlier, none of those movies could capture the same essence as the first two. You see, Columbus was very clear on what he wanted to give the audience. He came up with a comedy that would never really get old. To quote him, "We wanted people to still enjoy the movie 20 years down the road, but we had no concept that it would still be sort of this locomotive that keeps going after all these years. It's a very nostalgic experience for a lot of people, which is great." The sequel was made to naturally continue Kevin's story, and instead of treating Home Alone 2 as another kid-left-behind story, John Hughes wrote it as the next chapter in Kevin McCallister's life. Since much of the original cast and crew returned almost immediately after the first film, the sequel felt like a natural continuation of Kevin's journey rather than a reboot, and that's exactly why it worked. But Columbus was done after that one. There are a few varying accounts as to why Columbus didn't continue directing more Home Alone films when Hollywood turned the franchise into a cash cow. Some state that he was burnt out after the second movie, while others note that he didn't feel comfortable working with a new cast. So, without Macaulay Culkin and Chris Columbus, Home Alone started to dip, but finally, after decades, it feels like it might just be getting its groove back. According to an insider, the new movie is in the early stages, very early. It's just an idea and almost a green light from Disney. Disney loved Macaulay's idea, and everyone wants to see this happen. Yup, it sounds like Christmas has indeed come early for Home Alone fans. Turns out, in November 2025, Culkin publicly shared a concept for a Home Alone movie sequel, and the good news is, he insisted that he's not completely allergic to playing Kevin again. And that's kinda huge. You see, Culkin had outgrown the role and wanted to live a normal childhood, free from the demands of stardom and a difficult family environment. In an interview with Mythical Kitchen, Culkin shared, "What I wanted is to be with people my own age. You have to remember, a lot of the stuff I did when I was a kid, I'm not doing ensembles, it's me," he continued. "I wanted to go out and I wanted to date girls and I wanted to hang out with people my own age. I wanted to, go to a party. I wanted to do all those kind of things. I can't tell you how many bar mitzvahs I missed." Now, we all know Culkin's life hasn't been easy, and rumors of drug abuse started creeping up in 2012. Though Culkin denies severe drug addiction and heroin use, He was arrested in 2004 on marijuana and controlled substance possession charges. Culkin said the media blew the rumors out of proportion, while his break from Hollywood was something he had chosen years earlier. After all these years of living a relatively private life and appearing here and there, including as Ian in Seth Green's Changeland, in shows like American Horror Story and The Righteous Gemstones, Culkin has finally opened up about willing to reprise his role as Kevin McCallister. On November 22nd, Culkin appeared at a nostalgic night with Macaulay Culkin, an event that took place at the Long Beach Convention and Entertainment Center in Long Beach, California, and said, "I kind of had this idea. I'm either a widower or a divorcee. I'm raising a kid and all that stuff. I'm working really hard and I'm not really paying enough attention, and the kid is kind of getting miffed at me, and then I get locked out. Okay, that's really interesting, and if this gets fleshed out, we can get a worthy return for Culkin in a Home Alone movie. It can explain the passage of time and how the tables have turned, and instead of him being inside the home, it's now his kid locked in there." He continued, "Kevin's son won't let him in, and he's the one setting traps for me. Sadly, this would mean we wouldn't get to see more of the Wet Bandits, Marv and Harry, and instead, their place would be taken by Kevin himself." He also stated that the house is some sort of metaphor for our relationship. Kevin has to get back into his son's heart kind of deal. See, as much as I love watching Harry's hair catch fire or Marv being repeatedly hit in the face with bricks, I'm inclined to believe that Macaulay Culkin can pull off similar slapstick humor. Besides, I don't really want to see them beating up on an 83-year-old Joe Pesci. Do you? For me, the person I'm going to miss most from this cast has to be Catherine O'Hara. I'm sure lots of you out there will agree with me because Catherine wasn't just playing Kevin's mother, it seemed like they had a real connection. And even after years, when the two met, you could really see the affection. It felt like Culkin genuinely respected Catherine as a motherly figure. I'm pretty sure that if she were still with us, Macaulay would have found a way to bring her back, and God knows how much we would have loved seeing her play a grandma. That's just the way she goes though, R.I.P. to a legend. Anyways, if this Home Alone film actually works out, we desperately need it to be a success. I'm not even going to talk about how the third and fourth Home Alone movies didn't work. We'd need an entire video for that. So let's just take a look at the most recent one, Home Sweet Home Alone, released in 2021. You've got all the staples there, modern booby traps, a new storyline, an even more rebellious kid, but still it was poorly received, and it has about a 15% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That's exactly why we need this film to work and bring back the nostalgia. Yes, it would be a reimagining, but given the story Culkin has in mind right now, it seems like this potential sequel has a reason to exist. However, Chris Columbus has never really been excited about reboots. He feels that it's nearly impossible to recapture the essence those movies once created, and well, for Culkin, the sequel is on the table. Columbus has made it very clear he won't be returning. He said in an interview, "It was a very special moment, and you can't really recapture that. I think it's a mistake to go back and try to recapture something we did 35 years ago. I think it should be left alone." So yeah, it sounds like the new movie has to deal with a lot of downsides, possibly no Marv or Harry, no Catherine O'Hara, and most importantly, no Chris Columbus. But still, we're hopeful because Culkin might just prove himself a very good student and use all those charming bits he did back in 1990. It feels like he's really serious about it. And to be fair, Macaulay Culkin did reprise his role as Kevin McCallister in the campaign for Home Instead, titled Home But Not Alone. The firm offers in-home care for seniors, and the advertisement was meant to honor the 35th anniversary of Home Alone. We see Kevin trying to protect his mom, Kate McCallister, who was played by Catherine O'Hara in the films, from potential dangers in her home. So all of that hints towards the fact that the 45-year-old Culkin's soft spot for Home Alone and his iconic roles has been stirred, and the actor may very well be returning to the big screen. Matt Belloni of Puck said they're offering him another movie, like he could do his own passion project if he would also do another Home Alone. He has a good idea. I've talked to people who have heard it, and it's a really good idea for a Home Alone reboot with Macaulay Culkin. If that happens and they restart the Home Alone franchise, that would be gigantic for the next 10 years, because that movie, as you know, is perennially top of the streaming lists from October through Christmas. Belloni continued that Disney is practically salivating over the idea of this sequel and having Culkin back in the role, which he hasn't played in a feature film for the last 34 years. However, Culkin appeared to push back on the report when he said, "Y'all are out of your mind. My favorite part of HA is when I'm watching it with my kiddos." I'm really hoping all of this is part of keeping the movie hush-hush and that he's still thinking about it. Given Disney tried its luck with Archie Yates, known for his role in Jojo Rabbit in the 2021 film, and it didn't work well, it's understandable why the studio is reportedly trying to persuade Macaulay to spearhead a new Home Alone. If this movie manages to resurrect the franchise, it would be a huge success for the studio. So where do we stand on the Home Alone sequel? Well, from what it seems, the movie may be in very early discussions, and Culkin might rethink his priorities, given that Disney reportedly really wants to make it work. But nothing has been officially confirmed, and Culkin has publicly pushed back on the reports. Sadly, that's all the information we have and the end of our video for today. I know the movie is reportedly in very early stages, but I can't keep calm, and I really hope it materializes. We have some reassuring updates for now, but subscribe to our channel to hear all the news as it materializes. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and we'll see ya in the next one.